Hey guys, it is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Got a big one for you today. We're going to learn how to play Disposable Heroes by the great, legendary, incomparable, what other adjectives you can do for Metallica. So this one's off Master of Puppets. It kicks, it rocks. So we're going to do the entire thing. So I'm going to show you all the rhythm guitar parts, harmony guitar parts, and at the end is going to be the solo. So if you're just looking for the solo, fast forward to the end. All right, so let's take care of this intro that I just did here. We're in standard tuning, just kind of heavily palm muting, downstrokes off the E power chord, and then the power chord 2, 3, 2. Those power chord off the low E string there. And then we have this. So the second time through, the chords are going to be 3, 5, 2. So just where the first finger's at. So we have this. 2, 3, 2. 3, 5, 2. Then back to 2, 3, 2. And then you're going to come up, grab that octave power chord off the 7th fret of the A string. All right, so while that's going on, we have Kirk Hammett come in with a wah pedal. I'll keep the wah pedal off so you can hear the notes. It's just power chords really up an octave higher. It's just like this. Just ended on that chord too. All right, so that's just the power chord off the 7th fret of the A string. And he's using a wah pedal and kind of giving it a little bit of a looser feel. So you don't really have to do all downstrokes. So it's power chord, then it goes, then 9, 10, 9. Kind of rocking that wah pedal forward as he goes through there. And then we go 10, 12, 9. So we have this. Then back to 9, 10, 9. And then when head fill comes up, does that at the end of the riff. While he's doing that, since Kirk Hammett's already there, he's going to jump up and go to the 10th fret. So he plays the 10th fret there when he hits the head fill hits that chord of the 7th fret. Try this. Start over. And then just, if you don't go up to the 10th fret that last time, just let that chord ring. Then we have this single note rhythm that is played throughout a lot of the song. All right, so what this is if you want to get technical about it, it is on the first beat, it's an 8th note, and then a quick down up 16th, 2 16ths. So that's the first beat. And then we have 2 beats of just 8th notes. So it's just, so we have this. So down, down, up, down, 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 down. And then we have 1 beat of 4 16ths. So we have this. Let's start over. Down, down, up, down, 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 down. So after you get the that's just the pattern, right? So it's just a down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, and then that's 4 beats. Then you start, then you just repeat that. And then really, when it gets that fast, you're not gonna be counting. You're just gonna be feeling it dun 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 dun. So that's the way they would just feel it anyway. I guarantee he's not breaking it down into 16th notes and stuff. All right, now over that we have Kirk Hammett play some octaves. All right, so that's just the octave shape here. 3rd fret on the low E, 5th on the D there. Mute that A string, then up to 5, then 2, back to 5, and 1, and then 3rd fret, and then the E power chords. Right, this 3, 5, 2. So repeat that a couple of times, all right? And then we get to this new riff, kind of thrash riff. Looks like this. All right, so that's just based off of this C sharp power chord, which is at the 4th fret of the A string. So we hit the chord, and this fast muted alternate picking there on the A string. And then you're gonna do a quick pull off just from 5 to 4 on that A string. So you kind of hear 2 accents like a dun, 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 dun. The first one is the chord, and the second one is you're gonna pick that 5 and do a quick pull off to 4. So we do that, I guess, about 6 times, and then we have to. That's cool. So we have this. So that's the open A string, muted, and then you're gonna pull off, pick 5, pull off to 4 on the D. Then go back to that muted A string, and then back to the 4 on the D string, and then go 7, 5, 4 on the A. Then we're going to come down to these power chords off the low E string, power chords off the 3, 2, and 0. Then we jump over to the power chords off the A string, 5, 4, 2. So we had this. And then back to that kind of single note rhythm. Now we finally made it to the verse. Now the verse is vocals finally come in. Verse uses that same rhythm, just with that kind of changing the bass notes around. So it's like. And that last one, it just kind of plays the pattern like 4 times on it and doesn't move around. So those notes are doing the pattern 2 times on 0, then 1 time on 3 on the low E, and then 1 time on 2. And then start over. Back to 3. And now you go to 2 on the A string the second time, instead of 2 on the low E. So we have this. Starting over. This last time. You just kind of hang out on the open. All right, so then we get to the verse. I'm sorry, that kind of C sharp thrash riff again. But it's extended a little bit and has some fills by Kirk Hammett over it. So let me play the whole section right here. It kind of leads us into the chorus. I can't remember if I cut that short or whatever, but it's just repeating the same thing anyway. So it's that same riff we did before. And then we just take that down to the second chord and just play it just as like kind of a scratched off. So repeat that a few times. And then he moves it to here. So that's just that same thing at the second fret. This is when the Kirk is playing that little melody on top of it. And then I'll show you that melody in a second, but then James ends this. That's pretty cool too. So it's we have heavily muted palm muted power chords off the second fret of the A string, then 1, then 2, so 2, 1, 2, and then 3, 2, and the 3, 2 is not palm muted. And then back, kind of a down, 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 down. Kind of, it's a cool rhythm. It's really kind of just the first half of that previous pattern. All right, so over that, we have this. All right, so now he does that like an octave higher. But, you know, live he just kind of does it up here. So if you want to do that harmony part, you got another guitar player you can do it with. So that's just 4 on the G string, and then hammer 5, come back up to 4, over to 7 on the D. And then again, a hammer pull again, and then hammer pull again, and then it ends off that. So it kind of sustains on that B, and then over to the A note. And then the last time, and he's just taking that, just kind of randomly, just doing kind of a trill, and just moving it down the G string. All right, chorus riff. Here we go, cool riff. Back to the front. All right, so that's cool. So it. Power chord off the 3rd fret of the low E string, over the 1st fret of the A. And then the 2nd fret of the, so basically everything a fret lower now is 2nd fret of the low E. And then he opened A power chord for this. And then the 1st fret of the low E string, up to 3. And then down, 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 down. Kind of just on the open, so this. Let's repeat that. All right, so we have, goes back through the verse again. That C sharp riff with the same thing. So it goes through the same sections of the song, back to the chorus again, and then we get to the bridge. Is when we finally get to a new riff of the song, and it sounds like this. It's the rhythm right before the solo, so it looks like this. All right, so that's going to start with the power chord there, the 7th fret of the A string. And then open E. What you're going to do now is you're going to play the power chord at the 5th fret of low E. And kind of pull off on the 6th string to the open note. So and then you're going to hit that open string a couple more times. And then play the power chord at the 3rd fret and do the same thing. And then the 2nd fret and do the same thing. So this. And then the second time through, kind of a little different ending. So it starts first with a. I should not attempt to try to sing. I can't do what he does and play this stuff. I have to do only one thing. So, all right, we're at the bridge, and now we get to the solo. So we're going to take care of the solo at the end of the song. Right now, what's going on underneath the solo we're going to do. So it's a lot of that riff that we just did with a couple things added. So let me play through the solo rhythm for you real quick. All right, so a lot of that. So it starts a lot with that bridge riff. And then we get to that section where the solo does that. And it goes to C in the rhythm. So we have this C power chord off the 3rd fret of the A string. Then move up to 5. Then back down to 3. And then quickly goes down to 2 on the A string. And then 3, 2, 0 on the low E, kind of muted. You do all that again, 3. All right, now here we have a couple of different harmony parts. The one that Kirk Hammett's playing, the main one in the solo. There's another one right under him, kind of in the middle. And then there's the one that is lower, which is what Hetfield plays live. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do here. So that's coming out of this. I've done that twice, so we have this. And then back to that riff. So it starts with the 7th fret on the A string. A few times. Then 5 on the D, back to that 7 on the A. Hit that 7 a couple times, kind of follow that feel. And then 7 on the D, back to that 7 on the A. And up to 9 on the D. So this. Do it again. And then we continue with that riff coming out. Oh, am I dying? Hell no, man. Out of the solo. All right. And then we have. Okay, so just kind of looking at my notes here of where I'm at in the song. All right, so then out of there we're going to get to the. It kind of pauses. I was made for dying. It goes. And then it pauses. So it's just a little low E muted. And then it kind of builds some 8th note downstrokes there on the 3rd fret of the low E string. And then we're back to that C sharp riff. Oh, actually, it's the one from the beginning, so it doesn't go down to the B. it takes us back to the verse. So that's the beginning of the verse. Go through the verse again. And then we get to this extended, now we get to C sharp rhythm, which we did before. So I'm going to add the verse. And remember, it goes down to the B. So it goes over. So it still does that, except now that ending that we had before is a little bit longer. Instead of this, it does this. So that starts the same way as the first ending, and then we continue now. We go, again, adding to what we did before, 3, 2, 3 power chord, heavily palm muted, and then 5, 6, 7. And then back to that rhythm a little bit. So this. Back to the chorus. All right, so the chorus here is extended, and over that we have some more fills by Kirk Hammett. He does some unison bends, sound like this. All right, so that's a unison bend here. Play the 8th fret on the B string while bending the 10th fret on the G up a whole step. If you have a guitar like this, which is a floating bridge where you pull one up and it makes the other one go flat, you're gonna have to kind of pull that one slightly too on the B string, like that. And then the 11th fret, do the same thing. And now 7, 10. So just think, it starts at the 8th fret, you're going, and then jumping up 3 frets. Now 1 fret lower here from the 8, 7, up 3 frets from that, and then 3 frets, starting at 6, 3 frets up from that. So it goes 8, 11, 7, 10, 6, and then and hang out on that 5. You repeat that, and you're going to hear this. Kind of a harmony part coming in with it, just starting 3 frets higher. Doesn't sound like he does it. Doesn't sound like he does the jumps with it though. He just does the 11, 10. All right, until you'll kind of hear that there over that. And then we come to the end of this song, where we really kind of do an extended version of this C sharp riff. So it kind of looks like this. Pretty cool. All right, so that same riff, with that same little lick, done a couple times. So after the second time, move it up just to the 5th fret and do the same thing there now. They're going to end it with that same lick, still in the same normal spot, and then back to that C strum. So that's familiar there. So it's basically the same riff done 4 times, but the 3rd time you move it up a fret. And then we have this. So the same thing here, and then they take it up here to the 4th fret after that. Hit a few times, and the last time, add the 4th fret of the low E string in with it. And then we go back to that riff again. So same thing there, except at the very end, that last chord, just come up that 4 and add that big chord in there now with the 4th fret on the low E, add it. Now there is, when you do hear it the very last time in the song, you hear a harmony. Like that, there we go. All right, so that's gonna be open A and then pull off 9 to 7 on the D string. And then play 9, 7. Then play 9, 7, and then 10, 9 on the A. All right. All right, so we are ready for the solo. So I'm going to play through the solo for you guys, and then I'll take you through it. It's a long solo. It's about a minute long. Thanks, Kirk. So here we go. All right, that is a workout right there. So we're going to start here. Let me see what I can do here with this delay and reverb. Take a little bit off. You guys hate it when I use that stuff, don't you? Anyway, so we have this. All right, so there's going to be parts of this that are like kind of going for it. It's kind of like the bluesy kind of legato type playing. So if you know. If you've played Kirk Hammett's solos before, which you probably should if you're going to try this one because it's a little bit more advanced of his solos, I would, you know what I'm talking about. He's kind of got his own little thing that he likes to do there. And if you played his other solos, you'd probably get away with it pretty easy. So it's going to start with a unison bend. So that is just going to be playing the 15th fret there on the B string, and then the 14th on the G, and just bending up the G. And then release that bend, pull off to 12, over to 14 on the D, back to 12 on the G, and then when you do that bend, that's where we run into one of these blues things. We kind of roll from the B to the high E on the 12th fret. And here he's just kind of going for it. He's just kind of doing a hammer-on pull on the 12, 15, back to 12 on the B string, over to 14 on the G. And then do the same thing off the high E. So just kind of do what you want there. And do a bend there at the 15th fret there on the B string. Then we go up to here. All right, so that's just sliding into the 22nd fret of the B string, over to 19 on the high E. 3 bends there to the 22nd fret on the high E string, and then you kind of pull off 22 to 19, then play 22, 19, 22 on the B. Into that bend of the 22nd fret on the B. And you're going to do this a few times. So that's just playing the 19 on the high E string, pulling off 22 to 19 on the B. And then doing a bend there at the 22nd. So we have this done 3 times. All right, and now we have this next lick that when you hear it on the recording, there's some delays added to it. So it's the actual lick that he's playing is really hard to pick out. It's easier to pick out if you watch him play it live. So that's what I did. And this is what he does live there. All right, so it's a pattern. So it's the pattern done 3 times down through the scale. So it's going to be starting at the 19th fret on the high E string. So we have. So that's the pattern. So we have 19, 20, 22, 20, 19. And then slide down there to the 17th fret. I'll just shift down there. And then play 20, 19, 17. Sorry, this. But then we're going to play 19, 17, 15. So it's kind of this group. So it's a 6-note pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 2 3-note patterns. Straight descending notes in the scale. And then we continue that pattern again, and now starting on the 14th fret. So we go 14, 15, 17, 15, 14, down to 12. That's the 6 notes. And then play 15, 14, 12, and then 14, 12, 10. So this. And then we start the next pattern on the note we just ended with. So he doesn't shift down lower in the scale. He just starts it here. So we have this 10, 12, 14, 12, 10, 8, and then 10, 12, 10, 8, and then 10, 8, 7. And then while you're doing, you might want to pull those off so you can jump up here. He does a little tapping pattern. You're tapping the 12th fret on the high E, pull off to 10, and then pull up to 7. That little 3-note tapping pattern repeated. All right, and then we have this. So that's a bend there at this 9th fret there on the G. Hit a few. Release it to 12. I mean, sorry, to 7. And then got to bend and release at the 9th fret. Pull off to 7, over to 9 on the D. And then roll back to that 9 on the G string. There's some pinch harmonics in here too. And then we just go 9, 7 on the G, 9, 7 on the D, 9, 7 on the A, down to 5, back to 7, and bend it up. So it is. All right, then we get to the part where head fill goes to the C chord in the rhythm, and we have this. All right, so that's the coolest part of the solo, in my opinion. So that's sliding into the 15th fret on the high E string, then play 19, then 13 on the B, 12 on the G, 13 on the D, 12, 10, 8. And then back to that 10. And then over the G string, 8, 10, slide to 12, and slide to 15. Then we go into some tremolo picking. And that's just 13, 15, 16, 18 on the B. And then 12, 14 on the G. And 13, 15 on the B. All right, then we have a really cool thing. All right, so that requires a bit of a big stretch. We're going to be really kind of holding it. He lets these notes kind of ring together a little bit. So kind of borrowing just the 12th fret there on the high E. You can roll it a little bit if you want to clean it up. You're going to pull off 17 to 12 on the high E string. And then pick the 12th fret on the B. So that's a 3-note pattern. Do it a few times, and then just lower the note, the high note to the 16. So then it just goes to kind of doing them half, and just back and forth. Just play this. 4 times, 2, 2, 2, 2. All right, from there we have this. All right, so that is a kind of a couple bends into the 15th fret on the B string, and then kind of hammer 15, pull back up to 12, over to 14 on the G, back to 12 on the B, and a couple of bends there at the 15th fret on the B. And then you kind of do that move again that we just did, and then move it to the bend at the 15th fret on the high E string. So with this. And from there, a couple of bends there. And then you work your way down through the scale. It's kind of not an exact thing here. You kind of work your way down. And then when you get down here to the D string, 14th fret, go back to 12 on the G, 14 on the G, and just bend it up. So that part right there is another one of those parts you can kind of just wing it a little bit. Just as long as you get to that note in time. All right, and then we have this. All right, so this one's cool. So we have, this is all going against the open D. So it's really heavily palm muted. We're going to 4-2-0 on the D. And then play 5-4-0 on the D. And then play 7-5. Play this. All right, and then move up here. So that's the pattern. See, I had a D string in between them except for this last one. And then I'm just going to jump up here now to 9 and 7 and do 9-7 in the open D. So we have, so from the 9-7 D, then 10-9 D, open D, and then play the 12-10. So there's once again no open D after that last one. So we have open, 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 open. I'm not sorry, not open. Sorry. And then continue that. Here we have 12, 14, 12, open, 16, 14, open, and then here he jumps up and grabs 16 on the G string, and then 19 on the D. And there's a slight little pause, and we have the at the end of the lick. Now you can do it like that too. But what we have, he doesn't really do it like that live. He just keeps going up. But we're doing this like the record. So we have this 12 on the high E, 15, 14 on the B, and then 17 on the high E. And once again, you can move that note over here. All right, then we have the little melody. All right, so we have the note there on the 12th fret of the G string a few times. Over to 13 on the B, back to that 12. Then the 15 on the B, back to the 12, and then roll to the 12 on the high E string. And then after, on the second time through, you just make through that 15, and then some bends there at the 15th fret on the high E string. And then, as you can tell, it's just a lot of legato. Kind of messing around here. So what he's doing, the lick he's playing a lot is this hammer 12 to 15, pull back off, and then over to 15 on the beat in the back. And then he'll do that on the beat. Just kind of sticking with that E minor pentatonic form. And then he'll go back and start over again. And then end it with this. The bend at the 14, then 14, 12, over 14 on the beat. And that's one of those things you just kind of have to wing it like he does. So this. Just make it to the right points at the right. So you see how it goes back up. So you see how it went back and started back to the lick over. Back up top. Back to that melody. And that's the end of the track. So we back to same bends there after that melody. And it kind of starts the same way we did a legato here, just one that kind of legato like we just covered on the off the top 2 strings. And then we come up here, go to 15, hammer 17, pull back off to 15, slide down to 14. And then hammer on 15, pull off to 14. Over to 17 on the beat, back to the 14 on the high E string, and then play 17, pull off to 15, slide down to 14. And then we have this final legato lick, which is going to be pulling off. You're going to play 19, pull off to 17, 15, same thing on the beat. And then play 18, 17, 15. You're going to pick the top, pull off. And then same thing on the beat. And then 22, 20, 19 on the high E. So hear this. All right, and that is about it. It's a monster, but you guys requested it a lot, and there you have it. So I hope you guys have fun with it and get a lot out of it. Please subscribe to the channel, support my website, join my academy, ring the notification bells, practice, whatever. See you guys soon.